Have you ever noticed that nothing really affects you anymore? Good news doesn't feel that good. Bad news doesn't feel that bad. You laugh sometimes, but it feels automatic. You hang out with people, but somehow you still feel disconnected. You wake up, go through your day, scroll, eat, sleep, and repeat. And after a while, you start asking yourself a scary question. What happened to me? Because this isn't sadness, it's not pain, it's not even depression in the way most people imagine it. It's something stranger. It's feeling nothing. And if that's where you are right now, this video might explain why. Most people think emotions disappear because life becomes boring, but that's usually not what happens. Human beings are not designed to stop feeling. If you're emotionally numb, there's usually a reason. In fact, there are several, and the first one is something almost nobody talks about. Your brain may be overloaded. Think about the average day. You wake up and immediately check your phone. Messages, notifications, videos, music, podcasts, news, more videos, more scrolling. Your brain is constantly processing information. Every spare second is filled with stimulation. And when your mind never gets a moment of silence, something interesting happens. You stop experiencing life. You start consuming it. The problem is that emotions need space. They need quiet. They need moments where you're alone with your thoughts. But if every uncomfortable feeling is instantly covered by another video, another scroll, another distraction, eventually your emotional system starts going numb. Not because it's broken, because it's exhausted. The second reason is much darker. Sometimes emotional numbness is actually self-defense. Imagine touching a hot stove. Your body immediately pulls your hand away. Now imagine emotional pain, rejection, failure, loss, loneliness, humiliation. The brain reacts the same way. If you've been hurt enough times, it may decide that feeling less is safer than feeling more. And here's the catch. You can't selectively turn off emotions. You can't tell your brain, only block the painful ones. When the volume gets lowered, it gets lowered for everything. The sadness becomes weaker, but so does the joy. The anxiety becomes weaker, but so does the excitement. The pain leaves, and unfortunately, so does the passion. That's why many people don't feel terrible. They just don't feel alive. But there's another reason that might be even more common. You stopped moving towards something that matters. Think back to a time when you were obsessed with a goal. Maybe it was a sport, a relationship, a dream career, a project, a challenge. Life felt different back then. Not because everything was perfect. Actually, life was probably harder, but you felt engaged. You had direction. Humans are strange creatures. We can tolerate incredible amounts of struggle if we believe the struggle means something. But when purpose disappears, emotions often disappear with it. Days start blending together. Weeks disappear. Months pass. Nothing feels important because nothing feels connected to a larger mission. And eventually life starts feeling grey. Not painful, just grey. Now here's the good news. Emotional numbness is usually not permanent. The mistake most people make is trying to force themselves to feel something. They chase bigger entertainment, more stimulation, more dopamine, more distractions. But that's often the thing making the problem worse. Instead, you need to do the opposite. Reduce the noise, spend time without constant stimulation. Go for a walk without headphones, sit with your thoughts, journal, allow yourself to be bored, because boredom is often the doorway back to feeling. Second, do difficult things on purpose. Exercise, learn something challenging, have uncomfortable conversations, take responsibility for something. Pain isn't the enemy. Meaningless pain is. The emotions you're looking for often come back when you're fully engaged with life again. And finally, find something worth moving toward. not something impressive, not something that looks good on social media, something that genuinely matters to you. Because purpose doesn't just give you direction, it gives your emotions a reason to wake up. If you don't feel anything anymore, it doesn't necessarily mean you've lost yourself. It may simply mean you've spent too long surviving, too long distracting yourself, too long carrying things you never fully processed. The feelings are still there, buried underneath the noise, underneath the exhaustion, underneath the protection mechanisms your brain built to keep you safe, and little by little, if you create space for them, they'll come back. Maybe not all at once. Maybe not tomorrow, but they will, because the goal isn't to feel happy all the time. The goal is to feel alive again, and those are two very different things.